Hey, welcome to ASM. I'm Alex. Today I'll show you how I edit BMX racing finals for Aperture BMX. I'm not going to go through every single final because it's a really repetitive process and you only really need to see the first few to get the general idea. So let's jump into DaVinci Resolve and get started. Okay, so first let's talk about organizing footage. Skipping this step means a lot of wasted time later on. Let me show you how I organize my footage from a BMX race. So first of all, I'll drag and drop all the footage from my computer, from my SD card to my computer, and then my computer to DaVinci Resolve. Just drag and drop it into the media pool. And then I'll separate out the finals from the motos, because that makes it a lot easier to keep track of everything. So I've got a lot of bins in the media pool, but particularly here, I've got motos and finals. So all the motos are all the moto clips and also any other clips like, shot around the track and interviews and all that kind of stuff. I just dump it all into motos. And then in the finals bin, I've got all the finals from this particular race. So organizing my footage helps to make editing a lot easier. Also, I edit in stages to make editing smoother and faster. The first stage is to cut and add the captions. So I'll cut all the finals to the required length and then add all the captions that you see pop up on the screen to tell you which final it is. Then I'll add the results board. So the results that you see at the end of each final. And lastly, I'll color grade the finals, which is often a fairly quick process if the weather behaves itself. So going in stages makes editing smoother and faster. Right, so the first stage is to cut the finals together and add captions. Let me show you how I do that. So I'll double click on the first final up here, and up in the source viewer here, I've got an in point and an out point. Remember, I already edited these finals, so they're already here, but I'll show you how I generally do this. So normally there's a bit of space before the finals begin, before the first final begins and before each final begins, where I can kind of, find somewhere to cut from to start the final. But in this case, the finals just went and kind of caught me by surprise. That's why there's not much space here at the beginning of the final. So put the timeline indicator about here, exactly where I put it last time. And I'll set the in point. And I don't watch every single final because that would take absolutely ages to edit all the finals that way. So instead, I'll just skip to the end. And generally, I want to wait until the rider in third place crosses the finish line, and then add about 5 seconds or so after that, basically do a 5 count-ish to give the results enough time to pop up and then fade away, and then we go to the next final. So I'm going to just play the clip here. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I can't exactly do a 5 count there because there just wasn't enough time. These finals were just, rapid fired one after the other. At least the B finals were. So, but I've got my output, my out point, and my in point. And then I'll insert that into the timeline. So now I'm going to put a caption on this. So I'm going to put it somewhere here because I always do this for the first final, and then afterwards I'll move the caption to where it needs to be in the actual edit. So the captions are all over here in a power bin. Power bins in DaVinci Resolve go with you from project to project as long as they're all in the same project library. So it's really handy. I only have to do this once, and then it's just like a library of captions I can use. So in this case, I need to go over to scores to find the correct race. Okay, so this is scores, very familiar to anyone who is into BMX racing, who does BMX racing, organizes it, and so on. So I'm going to scroll down here to United Kingdom, and then I'm going to go over to, where's Deep South? Deep South BMX Racing. This was Gosport. And we're going to go down to the X finals. So there were 22 X finals, and just as a point of note, there were in total 45 finals that day. This is why I'm not going to show you every single final, because it would take absolutely ages to show all that. So I'm going to show you the first few. So this was a C final, Cruiser Boys 13 to 14 C final. So I'm now going to head over back to Resolve. Okay, so back in Resolve, I'm now going to get 13 to 14 Cruiser. That'll do. That goes up onto this track here. And they specifically called it Boys Cruiser on the day. So let's call it the same thing. 13 to 14 Boys Cruiser. And then go to the video transitions. And I've got a bunch of, it's called user transitions in Resolve, but they're basically custom transitions. And for this one, I like to use Crash Zoom. I like the fact that it's called Crash Zoom, although I hope nobody ever crashes in racing, although it does happen. And so now it's going to put the caption over the race like that. So that's one final cut and captioned. Okay, so let's go and grab the next final, which is over here. And here you can see there was actually a bit of space before the final began. Not all of them were like this, but this one was. So usually I'll just listen for the start gate. In this case, there was some music playing.
11 to 14-year-old Cruiser B final on the gate.
And yeah, copyright music, YouTube, DJ playing the music a bit too loud. It's not great for editing. It's not great for, putting the video together, but I've got coping strategies. So generally I'll try to listen out for the gate going down. But in this case, I had to kind of do that and then wind it back a bit. So yeah, put the end point about there, and then just scroll forwards. And remember I said I'll wait until like the third place rider crosses the finish line before I start that count at the end for the results board. So let's play the clip. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So originally I put it a little bit just after where I did it there, but generally speaking, that's how I'll do it, and then add it to the timeline. So now what I can do, because I've got this logo wipe set as a standard transition, can right-clicking set a standard transition. And I've also got the audio transition set the same way as the standard transition. That just means that if I click on the cut point between the two finals and hit Control-T, I'm on Linux, on the PC, so it's Control-T, it will add all of those transitions, the video and the audio transition, all at the same time, which is a massive time saver. Let's see if my computer will actually play it without stuttering. It did! Woo! Okay, so basically that's how I do the transition between two finals, and then let's put the caption there. Also, I just realized I didn't put the B final, actually it was a C final caption under this first one. So I'm going to do that right now because we're doing captions. Just put the B, actually I have to put it here, otherwise Resolve won't know where to put the transitions on the caption, which is a weird bug that they've never fixed. So actually, no, that's the wrong one. Nope. It's Crash Zoom. There we go. Crash Zoom, and then I'm going to just put it here at the end. So it's going to do that. Oh, and also I need to change this one to a C final. Okay, now I'm going to put the CTI right at the end there. Copy, well, right at the beginning, I should say. Copy and drag this over. I'm holding down the Alt key so it copies the whatever I've selected, and I can drag it over to a new place. And then I know that this is the 13 to 14 Boys Cruiser B final. So let's just change this back to B final. And that's the next final done. Let's just do one more. Okay, so the last final I'll show you will be this one. Another bug in Resolve is it keeps losing its place in the media pool. So kind of annoying, but another one they've never fixed. So here, this is one that went like really fast after the last final. So I've put the in point here, and I'll just keep it where it was. And then again, gonna play the clip. Benjamin Dean there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll have counted that, normally when I was editing. And place that onto the timeline, and then just do a Control T. Put the timeline indicator just there. And this is the 17 to 29 Cruiser B Final. So I'll grab these two captions, put them over here, and then just change this to 17 to 29 Cruiser, and we can leave this in place because it's the B Final. And then it just fades into the next final. Just crossfades to the next final. And then just repeat that whole process like 30, 40, 50, 60 times, however many, finals there were on the day. Repeat that whole process, and that's how the finals get cut together. Okay, so let's put some results boards on these finals. Normally, the results boards would be put on the finals after I've done them all. I've done all the finals, and now I'm going to put all the results boards on them. But for this example, I'm just going to put them on these 3. So for this, I need to head over to in my case, a Firefox-based browser. Okay, so I'm here in Waterfox, which is just a Firefox offshoot. It's a Firefox fork that I use. And you can see that scores looks a little bit different here. The names are like here near the middle of the thing, of the screen. And that's because I'm using a custom CSS script to make it so that I can actually select these names in scores. Normally you can't do this, but I managed to figure out how to get how to finagle the browser to do this. So what I'm going to do is copy all of these results, go to copy, and then back in Resolve, I'm going to scroll down to the results bin down here, and all of these compound clips in this bin, these are all actually results boards from the actual video that was edited. But for this particular video, I'm going to make a new one. So let's scroll down to DS results, Deep South results, and wind it back just a little bit, put the results there. And on my keyboard, I've got a custom shortcut, which is Alt-D, which opens up the compound clip. A compound clip is just a clip that has a bunch of other clips inside of it. Keeps things nice and neat and tidy, and also it's savable in Power Bins. So click the first text, can't remember what they're called now, text clip, text node, text thingamabob. Just escape me at the moment. Click in there, and I'm going to paste in the results. And Scores does a thing where the first name and surname are kind of joined together and then separated out on the actual website. So I have to separate them all out. And that makes them appear up on the results board. And because there are only 3 riders in this, well, there's 2 riders in 1 DNS, did not start, I'm going to just erase this so it looks a bit neater, and then select that, do an Alt-C, it's going to make it compound clip 44, that's fine. So many, there we go. We've got edge wipe down, which is my custom transition for the results. So now, that's what happens. And by the way, each one of these backgrounds, the gradient and the kind of transparent bit where the results actually sit, those were all actually made in Affinity, which is an amazing bit of software, and is now free to download as well. I've been using it since version 1, which you had to pay for, but now it's in version 3. It's amazing. Go grab it if you want to do any kinds of graphics, Photoshop style things and Illustrator and all that stuff. So let's do another one. Okay, so results go on there. Wind it back a bit. Put that there. Open it up. And now I've only got the first 4 results. This is an 8-rider final, but I've got the first 4 results here. Okay, so I went back into the browser and got the other 4 results. Put them there. Separate out the rider names because Scores doesn't actually do that. And then select. What I actually tend to do is lock the video and audio tracks, the main video track and the main audio tracks. So then I can just do this, and it doesn't matter that I've selected these, because when I make the compound clip, then they won't be part of it. They won't be part of the clip. So that's what I generally tend to do. Oh, and let's put a transition on there. And then that's how we do the results board. And then you see it just goes into the next final. And yeah, basically it's that process again and again and again and again and again through all the finals until all the finals have been cut. They've got their captions and they've got their results boards. The final part is to color grade them. So before I go and color grade all the footage, what I usually do is disable all of the tracks, all the video tracks, except for the actual footage itself, and I've also unlocked them as well. Because that's just because DaVinci Resolve has this weird thing where if I don't disable the tracks, then it'll include all the captions and the results boards as part of the clips when I go to the color page. They'll all be in the film strip. So to avoid that happening, I disabled all those tracks. So we've got the first final setup here, and I'm going to go into this power grade bin and choose this particular grade and drop it over the top. So this is the grade that I use for pretty much everything that I film, in BMX anyway. Basically, it's a bunch of nodes, all pre-configured so that I don't have to redo this every single time. I just drag and drop it, and then I can just copy and paste it between clips. So at the moment, it's a bit dark, it's a bit blue. So let's make this look a little bit better. Let's bring this up just a bit. And what I'll do is I'll put some contrast on that. Bring it up some more. At this point, I don't really care about clouds in the sky. It's all about the riders. It is very blue, actually. So I normally have it on -200 towards blue because of the way my camera tends to film things. But in this case, let's set it to 0. And yeah, that's looking a little bit better. So generally, there's this line up here, the 896 line. I'm trying to make sure that these bits here on top don't really push too far past that line, because I want a bit of headroom on top of the graph. So let's just set that to there. Yeah, that looks okay. Normally I'll be a lot more careful about this when actually, grading, but just for the purposes of this video, that's roughly how I'll do it. Click the next clip, press the equals key on the keyboard, and that will copy the grade from the last clip to the next one. By the way, if I go to this clip and hit the minus key, it will copy the grade from 2 clips back. So that's just a handy thing to have. Let's leave that ungraded for now. And what I'm generally doing when I'm grading is I'll try to find a point, like a reference point in the final, and then grade from there. I should have done that in the last clip, actually. I might actually go back and redo that one. So yeah, that looks good. Let's go back to the first clip I'm using this as a reference point. The third straight is usually a good place for this. So, yeah, that's good. That's also good. It's actually, the color on that could be a little bit less red. Yeah, let's just go with that for now. And then copy the grade back over. Find the reference point, which is about here. Let's do that. That's about, yeah, that'll do for the purposes of this video. And so on and so on and so on until all the finals have been color graded. So yeah, it's my little node tree here that I've got. I've got 5 nodes. It doesn't have to be a big deal. You'll see a lot of people on YouTube, give you all this kind of complicated advice about how to color grade in Resolve. And for narrative, for films, yeah, I mean, I guess that, that's what you need to do. But when you're trying to edit a BMX race and get it out, within 48 hours of it happening, you need to simplify things a little bit. So yeah, this is the node tree that I use. It's just a CST, color space transform, which transforms the log footage from the camera into something that I can edit with. And then I've got the white balance, and then the primaries, which is where where most of the adjusting takes place. Then a bit of hue and sat, which is hue and saturation. And at the end, I've got another CST node, which basically converts the footage into something that's suitable to go into the video. That's a really basic explanation of the node tree. Once the finals are edited, I can move on and edit the rest of the video, and all being well, get it out on time on Aperture BMX, Tuesdays, 6:30 p.m. So if you like what you see on this channel, then be sure to hit subscribe, like the video, maybe even hype the video if that's something you feel like doing. And check out the next video, which should be on screen right now. Thanks for watching. Bye.